you do that growing up where you try to like act out every big leaguer that you like they're Julio Franco?
Yeah.
You know, the bat over the head.
There are some times that my brother and I would try to, hey, do this, but it wasn't, this is really funny and I think really cool, but it necessarily wasn't MLB players. It was my mom's players, you know? So it was, hey, try to simulate this girl, try and simulate, how do they swing? And we would do that. You better hit a bomb right here, because that's the only way you're winning. Hey!
New Arkansas assistant coach DJ Gasso has a name associated with greatness when it comes to the sport of college softball.
Oklahoma caps off the winningest season in history with a 7th national championship.
Oklahoma head softball coach Patty Gasso has been dominating the sport for decades. But for DJ, she's just mom.
Growing up, you're around the field and you're playing wall ball and a ball accidentally goes on the field and you just start scrambling and trying to hide so my mom doesn't get mad.
Gasso has been around softball his entire life.
Little guy, you got a great cheer for your mom?
Go Sooners and go Mom!
All right, that was DJ Gasso.
And he's had a front row seat to the right way to coach the game.
My mom always says, softball, it's not who you are, it's what you do. And that perspective was preached, something that I've always learned.
Now, DJ Gasso is paving his own way as a softball coach.
Be on time, Jaden Wells. Well underneath it.
Building a reputation as one of the premier hitting coaches in the sport before landing a spot on Courtney Deifel's staff at Arkansas, where excellence is the expectation.
Go, here we go. Whoever gets a hit wins. Everything that you do has to be at the highest level. You got to do it your absolute best. And if you're not, you're losing. Sweet! Out, he's on a hop. Let's go. Out, he's on a hop.
DJ, welcome to Arkansas.
Thank you.
This is my second time meeting you, all within 10 minutes. So 10 minutes ago, before we started taping this podcast at beautiful Bogle Park, I parked in the parking lot over the left field fence, and this guy who doesn't know me comes up to my window and says, "Hey man, just wanted to let you know we're gonna be taking BP, and I'm not sure your truck's gonna be safe there." And I'm like, "Are you the new hitting coach?" I think fans would be excited to hear that.
Yeah, it's a nice day, wind's blowing out, and your truck's way too nice to be pegging it with some softballs today.
Every fan wants to hear that their new hitting coach is concerned about the parking beyond the outfield wall. But you've made a career out of a hitting coach reputation, a great reputation as a hitting coach already. How does it feel to be known for that kind of thing at 29 years old?
I think it's really cool, but it's more of a testament to the players that I had at Utah. I mean, built incredible relationships. Coach Amy Hogue recruited a lot of those athletes. So, I mean, I can't really take a ton of credit because if I was hitting, probably your truck would be safe, right? You know, our numbers wouldn't have been as good, but no, it's a testament to the players that we had and just the type of belief that we've had in the past. And I don't really take a ton of credit for that, but I appreciate it.
Let's get into your career a little bit and how you got to Arkansas. You played baseball, right? Mm-hmm. You come from a softball family. We've got a giant elephant in the room here that we'll address, and your mom's maybe the most well-known coach of all time in women's college softball, having won 7 national championships and in the last 3 in a row, Patty Gasso. But tell me about how you got from playing baseball into coaching softball.
Well, when I was playing baseball, I went to school to try and do what you're doing. I wanted to be in a little TV. I was kind of planning on maybe moving out to Culver City and working for the NFL Network. But it was between that and kind of coaching. And ever since I was a kid, I was around the game. I kind of tinkered with maybe coaching baseball, but softball is just, to me, way better. It's a way faster pace, more passion, more energy, and just more fun to be around, I think. And like I said, I've been doing it my entire life, being around it. And I think one thing that I've heard from Billy Graham said that the amount of lives a coach can change in a year an average person could take their whole life. And I think that's something that, I alluded to, our family has just invested in a lot of people. And growing up and seeing kind of what my mom's been able to do and the letters and the relationships that she's built, not only with her current players, but the former players, it just excites me more to know that I could potentially, help someone out like that.
Obviously, you love sports, not just softball, even though you grew up, your dad coached softball, your mom coached softball. Your brother's a softball coach. Obviously, I guess, just love sports. Did you play all sports?
Yeah, all sports growing up. I actually played ice hockey, which people don't believe. I did do that kind of growing up. I sucked at basketball. Yeah, I was really bad at basketball.
But you got to look for it, at the Jones Center or whatever.
Yeah, I was
in Springdale, Arkansas.
Yeah, I was so bad at basketball, so I said, this stinks. And our neighbor played hockey, competitive hockey. And so I was
random.
like, you get to hit people. I'm like, yeah, this is great. I was like, Happy Gilmore. Couldn't skate very well, but I would love to hit people, I guess, so that was awesome. But then when I got into high school, it was just football and baseball. So
you spent the last 3 seasons at Utah. You guys went to the College World Series for the first time since 1994. Top 5 nationally in batting average. We could go on and on about, some of the accomplishments that your team had offensively with you as a hitting coach. You attributed it to the players. What is it about hitting that kind of got you going that direction as a coach?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because when I was a GA at OU, and my first job was Utah. And when I was a GA at OU, I did a lot of infield stuff with my mom. My brother does the hitting. My mom did more of the infield defense. So a lot of the research and things that I was doing was more on the defensive side. I kind of kick myself now. I was a little stubborn, didn't listen to my brother as much. We'd butt heads like all brothers do sometimes. And so I wish I really, really understood and knew and probably picked his brain more back then, because the first time of me kind of testing out and doing my research and really diving into the hitting side was at Utah. So it kind of took a couple of years, obviously, to get it, I guess, the mindset and the process is where I wanted. But no, it's nothing. There's nothing better than trying to solve problems. That's what I say hitting coaches are. You're just a problem solver, and each person has a problem, or they're trying to find the solution of how to beat the pitcher, and you have to go about it differently for each person. And I think in that you build great relationships with your athletes, and that's what I love.
They don't throw you that much inside, so just make sure that I'm driving or I'm keeping it soft. See what I mean?
In a sport where if you get a hit 3 out of 10 times, you're doing great.
Yeah.
How do you come in and deal with athletes that have had success to get to this level?
Yeah.
And here comes the new guy, whether it's at Utah or now at Arkansas, and have that engagement with them to get them to adjust or understand, or how do you understand what's in their head?
Well, I think there's a couple things to that. I think one, if you don't trust the person, you're not gonna, listen to what they have to say. And I think that was the very first thing I wanted to do, is build that relationship, build that trust, because a lot of the girls on the team, I just gotta get out of their way. You know what I mean? Not much I can help, because they've had, like you said, storied careers and have been really good. I think the thing that I've tried to bring a little bit is maybe more of, hey, we're a Swiss Army knife where there's a lot of ways that we're going to attack a pitcher, because, maybe it's not a beautiful day like it is today. It's really cold. The wind's blowing in 20 miles an hour. You're not able to hit a home run. How are we going to score? Because you still got to find a way to do it.
All right, how about this? Drag bunt to win it, you two. You get one chance. If it's a ball, You don't have to do it if it's a ball. Here we go. Done.
Or when you get into postseason, the pitchers are really, really good, and they might have given up 10 home runs all year. It's going to be extremely hard to hit a home run. How are we going to score and win? So maybe giving the players different tools in their toolkit to just basically say, hey, the pitcher's doing this or that, the environment's this or that, and I have to maybe make this adjustment or make that adjustment. So getting them super comfortable and making the adjustments and confident, and Coach Gibson and I's kind of game plan and how do we attack the pitcher. And then, hey, the game plan ain't working, we have to adjust and change it, still being comfortable with doing that as well.
Like we were getting so black and white. If it's not this pitch, I can't swing, or if it's not right there, perfect, I can't swing. We need to be more aggressive getting our swings off. You guys got that?
What's the key as a coach to finding that balance of staying out of the way, leaving someone alone, maybe even if they're in a slump?
Yeah.
Just knowing how to handle that. Sort of like parenting.
Yeah.
I know you have one that's a year and a half, right? But as they get older, but any time you're trying to give advice, it's how it's going to be received. And if it's not received, it doesn't even work.
Yeah.
How do you figure that out?
Yeah, one thing, I take a lot of things from other people. I don't really necessarily can say, hey, this is my thing. I love learning and taking a lot of things from different people. And one thing I heard was, you prepare about 3 months for a 5-minute conversation. So that person's in a slump. And I have all the data. I have when they're good, when they're bad, what their swing decision is.
All your hits might be on rise balls again. So be ready for that.
All this stuff I want to build up. And they're just like, Coach, I ain't feeling it. All right, well, let's talk about it. And then I can have all this, instead of, here's all the information, let's give it to you, let's give it. And then it's information overload, or you try to, hey, what's wrong? You're pushing the panic button. And that might cause them to push the panic button more in a slump.
I need to be behind it a little more, because that cue is going to help you get to those inside pitches instead of getting jammed. Yep.
I want to be super prepared. I want to be super inviting for conversation and build a great relationship. So if they're good or they're bad, we can try to keep them as steady as possible, as consistent as possible.
Honestly, I just think sometimes it's just finishing with one hand. Because the more you think through longer, the more you actually think. I don't want you thinking or in your head. I want you just being reactive and being an athlete.
Like you said, it's a game of failure. And I think redefining what success is something that we've talked about. It's not all about, the batting average that you see on the scoreboard, but it's more about how you can get on base, have quality at bats, or help the team win rather than kind of that individual accolade.
A lot this weekend. We're not going to be a ton in a split window. We'll probably be a lot more in an early window. Okay? So ready for hard, and if it's in, we're able to get our swing off. If it's out, hey, we're able to take our single. But I think we're overcomplicating the windows a little too much. And I feel like
what makes a good hitter? If we just summed all this up, how would you answer that?
I think one is confident. They're extremely confident. A lot of people say, hey, work your confidence, but not only confidence, but they believe in themselves. Belief is unwavering. It doesn't go up and down. Confidence, sometimes if you're 0 for 4, it can kind of take a hit, or if you're doing really good, it can go up. Belief is unwavering, whether you're doing good or bad, you're always going to have that. You're always going to have that belief in yourself. Confidence can kind of go up and down. So as long as you believe in yourself and believe that you're the best in the country, you believe that you're going to beat that pitcher. That's key number one. I think balance and coordination, hand speed, that's always great. But I think the big thing that we always preach to the hitters is, hey, are you on time? And are you swinging at good pitches? Some swings are, good, some swings are bad. But if you're on time and you're able to, swing at strikes and take the balls, I know it sounds super easy. Not so easy when you're in the box, but I think some of those things are huge. But I think belief is always number one.
I mean, you just went and were smoking it in there. Nothing changes. The only difference is you didn't swing at the OO and you swung at a ball.
So in sports, there's always this thing when we see a successful coach, like the late Mike Leach. One of the remarkable things about him as an offensive guru is he didn't really play football.
Not at all.
Right? And so do you sometimes, does somebody want to see your resume? Like, let me see how you hit, bro.
Yeah.
Like, let me see what your stats were at JUCO and Bradley.
Yeah.
And how do you work through that with someone?
Well, like I said, I tell them, listen, if I was hitting, I'm probably bunting or hitting flares to right, all right? So don't list, I'll go in and take some swings with them or show examples of hey, this is kind of the feet, because sometimes I see it from the backside. They can't necessarily see it. So I might try to go simulate their swing. I do a really good Hannah Gamble too, by the way, which she would appreciate that. But I'll try to simulate their swing, and so they can see it kind of from my side, and then try to show, hey, this is what we're trying to get it to look like. So I can hit, some machine balls pretty well. I don't know if I'd be able to hit a live pitch or anything.
Did you do that growing up where you try to like act out every big leaguer that you like they're Julio Franco?
Yeah.
The bat over the head.
There are some times that my brother and I would try to, hey, do this, but it wasn't, this is really funny and I think really cool, but it necessarily wasn't MLB players. It was my mom's players, so it was, hey, try to simulate this girl, try and simulate, how do they swing? And we would do that. There would be obviously some of the pool, like Sheffield, some of those, but a lot of it was my mom's team. We
got to go there. How it was growing up with Coach Patty Gasso, so respected, so much success, just as much as a person for the wins and the titles. What was it like growing up in that environment? And maybe a little known fact, your dad also coaches softball.
Yeah.
So give me your dynamic, from as early as you can remember.
Yeah.
You and your brother growing up. Is that your only sibling?
Yeah, just my brother and I. Yeah. Extremely competitive. Everything was, you're trying to win, whether it's Uno. We play Uno a lot. That's the card game of the Gasso household. And that's, it gets heated. My dad, he yells, but it's a very loud family, very competitive. But no, just growing up, you're around the field. You're, going to the football games on the sideline. You're, having the jerseys on. You're playing wall ball and, a ball accidentally goes on the field and you just start scrambling and trying to hide so my mom doesn't get mad at, like, oh, we were playing, I'm sorry for throwing in the team or the umpires calling time. But it was fun. I don't necessarily remember a lot of I guess looking back, you can kind of see like the grind that she went through. Very hardworking. The success that they have now, it wasn't built in a day. This is her 30th year. It's easy for me to remember because it's always like the year before I was born, and it's easy. But yeah, it's a long process and a grind that not many people understand and know what it takes to get to that level. And to see what she does, not only on the field, but off the field, I think has been incredible for what I do now as a coach.
I would say it's a little unusual for the situation of your mom to be as well known as she is as the Oklahoma softball coach, and your dad to be a community college head softball coach.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a better question for him or her, but what have you witnessed from their relationship in that regard and how it impacted you guys as kids?
Yeah, well, my dad was basically, he calls himself Gasso #1. He's like, I'm the original Gasso, because he was the original coach. He coached Division I football. He played football at Long Beach State when they had a football program. That's how I met my mom, and he coached at Long Beach State and then also at Utah State. So they kind of started their relationship where my mom would travel out to Logan, Utah, and he was coaching. And then, as a coach, someone has to kind of sacrifice their career. That's just how it goes. They can't really have both. And I think my dad kind of gave the biggest sacrifice, and he had all the stuff and wanted to coach and do all that. But my mom getting into coaching and doing really good and then moving to Oklahoma, he had to kind of change what he did. So, he was an athletic director. He was the boxing commissioner of Oklahoma. He coached college soccer. He coached high school football and baseball. He runs a facility now. He's a softball coach. He
might be the OG Swiss Army knife.
He's done it all. Yeah, it's crazy. He's done it all. So he is extremely knowledgeable. But the way that they are able to love sports, but I think love God first. I think that's one thing that they've taught my brother and I, is they have always put God in the center of their marriage. And to do what my mom has done for so long, and to keep a marriage, especially nowadays when you see the coaching world and you see the divorce rate, it's a staggering number. It's real, it's out there. But to see what they have done, not just for others, but for their family and for each other, is remarkable.
Yeah, give me a couple takeaways, if you would, from just watching your parents, and most people would focus on the success, and there's a big part of that too. Like there's keys to being successful, but who you are, it sounds like, is what you're driving at, also has a big impact on that.
That's one thing that I start with all of our hitters meeting is, softball, it's not who you are, it's what you do. And understanding that perspective was preached all the time I'm around. It's preached in the program from my mom. So that's something that I've always learned, and understanding, knowing, like when I guess things were kind of tough in the family, it was so focused on winning. We're, like I said, extremely competitive. We're wanting to win. What can you do to win? Is it that extra little film that's the difference, that you see something in a game or see someone do something, and that's the difference between winning or losing. We're gonna find a way to find that and watch that. So it's a lot of time, a lot of man hours. But I think when my mom always says, like, you know, we're here to win souls, we're not here to win games. I think that was, and obviously the recruiting classes they came in, because that's the other piece. That's absolutely ginormous. But I think those two things, when they started meshing, that's when you started to see her program take the life that it is now.
Say that statement again. It's not what you do, it's who you are. Is that what it is?
Yeah, softball, it's not who we are, it's what we do. So that's, you know, like I said, it's a game of failure. There's times when you're 0 for 4 and you find your identity here, and you're gonna feel really bad about yourself. But if you find your identity outside of the sport, you can go 0 for 4, be okay, and the next day you're going 4 for 4. And you're not necessarily riding this roller coaster of emotion, but helping you stay consistent, but helping you stay mentally healthy as well.
What are some things that your mom or maybe your dad had you do as kids, you and your brother, that kind of molded you in to where you guys are today in this coaching profession? Could be anything.
They're blue collar. Like my mom, long day of work, long day of meetings and phone calls and all that. And she's the one cooking dinner. Or what I hated the most is like the gardening or like Christmas decorations. Till this day, my wife and I'm like, listen, I don't want to do Christmas decorations. I've done it my whole life. But it's all of the little things. Like as soon as you think, oh, I'm tired, I'm done, like I'm just going to chill out. I mean, that's when they almost go to another level. They always ask, like, you know, what's your mentality, how you coach players, where'd you learn it from? Or how do they do it at OU? How'd you learn that? And it's like, I mean, that's just how we lived. You know, if I left a light on in the bathroom, my dad's on me. You know, if I'm leaving my bed messy or leaving things out, they're on me, because everything that you do has to be at the highest level. You got to do it your absolute best. And if you're not, someone else, you're losing. You're not at your best. And how can you be at your best? You do all the little things right, and at the best of your ability. And I think just growing up in that has helped cultivate me sharing that mindset. So it necessarily wasn't, hey, this is the lesson that you have to learn. It was like, no, this is how you do it here at the household. You know, you eat, you wash the dish. You don't wash the dish, like, I'm gonna get on you. And that was my dad getting on me, not necessarily my mom as much. So like I said, the original Gasso, he was the enforcer.
We've heard a little bit about you and your brother, DJ. What's your brother's name?
JT.
JT is we got initials going here, right?
Yeah. He was Jameson Thomas. I'm Daniel James. They were calling me DJ, allegedly, and JT was like, all right, we'll just go JT now, because he was always Jameson growing up.
Is he older?
Yeah, he's 6.5 years older.
Okay. So he's an assistant currently at OU. I just wondered if you got kicked out of the family at some point because he's still there and you had to go off to like Utah, which you were wildly successful. But how did that play out? Yeah,
no, I mean, I was a GA just trying to work your way up. My brother did the same thing. He was a GA at OU, and then his first job was at Purdue. He was there for a year. And then he went to Michigan State. He was there for a year and then got the job at OU. And I was going the same route. It was right at COVID. So my interview I only did one interview, it was with Utah. And it was over Zoom. And luckily Coach Shamie Ho gave me the chance, an opportunity to, risk kind of what she's doing for a 25-year-old, know-it-all kid probably at the time. But no, you just try to work your way up and grind and grow and learn. And luckily Coach A let me do that at a young age. So I was able to fail and understand what worked and didn't work. But man, I just love competing. And I always throughout college was kind of away from home. So I love kind of being away, doing my own thing and kind of, I guess, not necessarily building my own story, but, I'm not necessarily one to say like, oh, I need to be back. I mean, obviously Oklahoma is my home. It's my wife's home and everything, and have always been OU supporters since we were young, but man, there's nothing better than competing against them. You know, I think that's what's more fun to me.
Well, it is your story, and that's what we're going through here. And you know, we all have different journeys, but none of us can be successful by ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's easy to sit around and go, well, that person got a break because they know this person or whatever. But we all have help, and we all end up at the end of the day either doing it or not. Mm-hmm. And I wonder what that's been like for you to deal with, because I know you want to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Just the competitiveness and who you are as a person. So there's good that comes with being in that Gasso family name. Maybe you have some connections, but then there's expectations, to live up to.
Yeah. No,
how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, especially like Utah, I'm not dumb. I got the job probably because of my last name. Like Coach A, she knew my family for a super long time, and I was the GA helping them set up their practice when they came to OU. And so it was kind of a connection like that. And I interviewed and everything, and not many people as a GA go straight to being a Power 5 softball coach. And you know, I'm not blind to that. I understand the opportunities that and blessings that I've received because of what my mom's done, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the success or how well it goes is based on that. And I think that's something that I'm grateful for the opportunity, but now it's time to work. It's time to, be good or not good, right? But no, you can't really, if you don't take someone's opinion, you probably shouldn't care what they have to say. And so I just, if people say that or think that, I mean, that's great. My mom's done an incredible job, and, whether I live up to that, there's other bigger things in life. My identity isn't on the success of the field, but when I'm on the field and when I'm working, I want to be that good. I want to get to that level. I want to compete and be the best. But that doesn't mean I'm going to be happy or not if I reach that.
You got it. Make a play. Good.
Yeah, right.
Right away. Oh, Jimmy. Oh, wait, hit a hard hop. Good ball.
However long you're here, maybe your entire career, maybe a couple years, who knows?
I'm wanting to, so
how
you
life
can put in a
goes.
good word for me.
How do you hope fans remember your time here whenever it ends, or players, or just the Razorback family? I
think I guess I would want to be remembered more in the sense of the product that we put on the field, that they're excited to come to the field and say, hey, whether they're scoring a lot of runs or not scoring a lot of runs, they're going to play with passion. They're going to compete. And they're just a gritty, tough team that no matter what the challenge is ahead of them, they're going to find a way to win. And also, if we can sprinkle in some home runs and some run rules and all that good stuff, I mean, that would be awesome too. But, one thing that I always try to pride myself is when you get inside those lines, it's just competitive mode. It is game on. We kind of showed the video the other day of Kobe Bryant. It's mama time, right? He says, I become that killer snake as soon as I step on the court. And that's kind of the mentality. But when we're off the field, I want to be more remembered of someone that was extremely loving, caring, and set an example in a female sport, but set an example from a male role model of how to be a great husband, a good father, and someone that serves others first.
So how do you know Bobby Bones?
Yeah, so my sister... I don't have a sister. Sorry, let's rephrase that. My bad on that. All right. So my wife's sister is married to Bobby Bones. They met in LA at a Dancing with the Stars little event, and that kind of blossomed. And through COVID, that's where we met Bobby and everything. And I call him Broby. He's my, I guess, brother-in-law now. So everyone calls him Bobby. I call him Broby. But no, he's Arkansas fan through and through. Yeah.
Tell me what you've got on this roster that you're excited about.
Yeah, man, we got athletes. That's the thing. And they are hardworking and determined. That's something that the first practice, I saw them all working extra. I'm like, man, they already got it, But it's a very dynamic offense that's going to be able to score different ways. We'll have our big bombers that will be able to put pressure on the pitcher and say, if you miss a spot, you're going to pay for it. And we'll also have players that is going to put pressure on defenses, put the ball in play and make them make plays. But no, I'm really excited for this season. I think this offense can be something really special.
You got some newcomers, top 5 recruiting class, some transfers, which is part of today's world. What stands out to you there?
Man, I think the people coming in, not only the freshman class and the years to come and the transfers, is that they're highly competitive and they want it. You know, it's not something where I'm here to chill, I'm here to just have a good time. Like, they want to win, they want to be competitive, and they want to be the best. And they're extremely athletic and extremely gifted. So that's, you know, you want to be the best coach, you get the best players. That's something my mom always taught me there. So I think the talent level of the kids coming in and that we have is best in the country.
What should fans expect to see when they come to the ballpark? Maybe even throw some names out there, you know, from this player does this, that player does that.
Yeah, no, I think we have a line of hitters that can leave the park at any yard with Halverson and Gamble and Ellis and Hedgecock, and many more, I think, that are competing for spots as well. So I won't say anything now, but I would love to see that competition play out. Nia Carter and Reagan Johnson love to get on base. They find ways to get on base, but the way that they're able to leave the yard, hit a double, bunt a base hit, do a hit and run, do a fake bunt steal, a lot of moving pieces that they're able to do might not be, hey, stand in there and try and hit it as far as you can, but they're going to be able to produce runs and produce quality at bats in different ways. So I think that this lineup is lethal in a lot of different areas.
Are there any season tickets left? Because if not, just run that. Just put that on social media. I want to go watch that.